All right, welcome to day 4 of the Back to School with Simply Peace. We've been spotlighting AQZ as an easy way to trade Forex. We call it the new wave of trading Forex. From my own understanding, it's trading Forex for the dummies. Anybody who knows how to follow simple rules should be able to trade AQZ. We would be using the chart of Euro USD today to explain some of this. Again, for those of you who are more experienced, I promise we're going to use the last day to break down some things, but I pleaded before now that we will do that on sometime next week. So day 5 will still deal with the basics of AQZ. We'll be doing that maybe sometime next week. All right, so let's move on. Let's look at the chart of Euro USD. I'll use something to explain this, and then we'll now apply the indicator to see how it tallies. Right, so notice we were in a downtrend here. This was the bullish candle that was responsible for this low. This was the bullish candle responsible for this low. When price came back into the bullish candle, we were anticipating to sell. Right? Traditionally, when price returns back into the bullish candle, we will be anticipating sells. So when price came back here, we would have been looking for reasons to sell. So this was the breakdown sell. However, price didn't sell. Price broke up to the upside. Right? Price pushed on to the upside and closed above the wick of this candle. When price closed above the wick of this candle, we say that the momentum has shifted from a sell to a buy. Shifting from a sell to a buy could be temporarily. It could be for a much more longer period of time. We don't know. But we just know that price has shifted. Previously, we called this a breaker. Now, when immediately price broke above this region, our bias will change from sells to buys. We will be anticipating a buy upon price returning into that box, right? So let's use the appropriate term now. We usually would have used this AQZ block. And notice price came to the preferred entry and sold, but then price invalidated the sell. And once price invalidated the sell, we said that the upper part of the AQZ block becomes our buy. Notice how price came and then bought off. Notice how price came and then bought, right? Now I'm going to take out this AQZ fib for now, and I'll call up the momentum shift. But before I do that, I want to explain this again. This was the bullish candle responsible for this low. Immediately price broke that bullish candle. We became buyers upon this candle. So in this candle, we became buyers. Now we'll call up our momentum shift indicator. It could be a little bit noisy, but when I'm done explaining, you may or may not even use it, as you could spot it yourself if you follow this lecture tonight. So notice that this red arrow is indicating the bearish candle, the bullish candle upon which we would have hitherto been expecting sells to occur from, right? See that? Now, when price broke this bullish candle, means that sales are fading away, we became bullish. Immediately price broke that candle, these shifts will appear upon the next candle. So this shift will appear on this candle, telling you that we should be buying from this candle. We should be buying from this candle. And simultaneously, a green arrow will appear on this bearish candle, right? So we have two ways of trading this system. The first way of trading it is by trading the violation of this bullish candle, right? So we have this bearish AQZ here. The violation of the bearish AQZ will give us a buy scenario. Second way of trading this is by fibbing this last bearish candle, but because it's bullish, we'll fib from the tip to the tip. So if price returns for any reason, if price pulls back down into this region, it will be a good reason to buy. For those of you who trade the source breaker principle, you'd know that you'll be anticipating after a breaker, you'll be anticipating a retest of the source or the breaker for a buy. This is the retest of the source. This is the retest of the breaker. Same principles, simplified for all. Right? Same principles, simplified for all. So you have two reasons to go long. By tomorrow, which is the last day out of the 5, we explain how we now use the BTB to perhaps catch the buy here or even here. So if price continue to push, the opportunity to go long. So, but just know that when we have this green candle, we'll feed that bearish candle for a buy. Two ways you can enter a buy on this. Subsequently, the green arrow will be appearing on every black candle. That is every bear candle in a bullish trend. So here we have the bear candle, right? And we're going to feed it from down to up because it's bullish, right? Because it's bullish. And those are our entries, right? This candle went above, came back. Those are our entries. Here we have another candle. We will feed, then pushed up. That is the entry. Here we have another one. These are entries. Price came and pushed to the upside. Fine one, right? This could be another entry. If price closes, this bearish candle, if it closes the way it is right now, we would have a momentum shift to the downside. And we'll have the inverse of what happened right here now, right? So we'll automatically have on this candle a red arrow pointing downwards once this closes, and the red shift, the bearish shift, will appear on the next candle. So watch this video again, you would understand how the momentum shift works. You would understand how the momentum shift works. All right, so if you've seen me use the momentum shift before, this is too noisy for me. So traditionally, I would tick off this show all momentum button, tick it off, and then I have just my shifts. Right, I have just my shift. And how do we use this? When I see my shift here, it's simply telling me that the candle before the shift violated a bearish AQZ. So I know to fib this to the downside, and the lowest bearish candle, I know to fib that to the upside. Again, when I have a shift on this candle, it's telling me that this candle violated this, and now I'm going to fib this. Sorry, I'm going to fib this. When I find a shift on this candle, it's telling me that this candle violated this bearish candle, and I'm going to fib the bearish candle. Right? It's as simple as that. When I have a shift on this candle, it tells me that the candle before violated a bearish candle, and now I'm going to fib this candle. I'm sure you guys can see that, right? I have a shift on this candle. It's telling me that the candle before violated the last black candle, bearish candle, and now I'll be fibbing this candle. Right. That is how we use the momentum shift, and it works on any time frame. So I could take this off and go to like 12 hours, and you see exactly what we're saying. Now notice that let's take it from beneath now. So we have this candle here, the bullish candle is a candle responsible for this low, the last bullish candle before this low. So when price returns to this bullish candle on the 12 hours, right? For those of you who've been seeing my charts on crypto, I prefer marking them up on the 12 hours. That way I can easily come back just twice a day to look at my charts and not bog my head, right? So here is a bearish candle, bearish AQZ setup. We will be fibbing it to the downside. Now on the 12 hours, notice how price came straight to the preferred entry and then dropped. Price came straight to the preferred entry and then dropped. Then price broke above this bullish candle. When price broke above the bullish candle, it invalidated the bearish bias. And then we would be looking to buy. Again, we have two ways to buy. When price retests the invalidated AQZ block, that is a sign for a buy. However, price could pierce down even lower and then give us a buy. Where would we be anticipating our buy from? We'll be anticipating our buy from this last bearish candle. Again, if we call up our AQZ momentum shift and put up show all momentum, we should have an arrow pointing at that last bearish candle, right? Pretty simple. Trying to break down the momentum shift so you could use it, right? So let's leave the arrow for now and let's move on, right? So this shift appeared on this candle, telling us that the candle before the shift was the one that violated this bearish stance. Now we have this arrow appearing. What would we do there? We would fib this to the upside. We have the arrow here. We would fib this to the upside and continue like that, right? But now, notice we have a shift here. So we would have fibbed this just for this explanation here to the upside, and notice how price closed to the lower side. Once price closed beneath, what happened? Shift, negative shift, that is a bearish shift, appeared on the next candle, and then we had the red arrow upon the highest bullish candle. So what would we have done? Let me take everything out here. We basically would have had a bullish AQZ here. Price broke beneath it. Instead of buying, remember we've been having bullish, bullish, and we've been buying. So this would have been bullish, but price came and broke beneath. Once price broke beneath, we had a shift on the next candle and a red arrow appearing on the highest bullish candle. And that highest bullish candle is a bearish signal. So we would have fibbed out this candle for a bearish scenario. Now we have two opportunities to sell. When price returned back into this block, the lower block would have been looking for a sell. But let's take out the lower block for now. Remember I said price, we could have sold from that block or this. Notice how price pushed back into the preferred entry of this candle and then sold off. Believe it or not, if I do this, price gave us TP1 from preferred entry to TP1, from preferred entry to TP1. And once price violated the bearish bias, we automatically become bullish. Once price violated the bias, look at the violation, we automatically become bullish. So when price came back to preferred entry, we bought. When price came back to preferred entry, we bought. Now this also gave us TP. Right? So we had TP1 for the sell, we had TP1 and TP2 for the buy. TP1 for the sell, TP1, TP2 for the buy. I've said it before and I'll continue to say it. In Forex trading, two traders can go in at the same price, 0.0364. One is buying, one is selling, and they'll both hit their TP. And they'll both hit their TP. It happens in trading. It happens in trading. Right? And AQZ basically just demystifies this. I am right for a buy, I am right for a wrong. What you want to make is money, not being right. You want to know when to get in, when to tap out, when to change your mind from, a buy scenario and begin to think like a seller, or when to do vice versa. Exactly here, you had a bearish stance, and the bearish stance happened after this bearish candle violated this bearish hammer, or what I call that a doji or pimba, as the case may be, right? Then notice price traced back and then dropped. By tomorrow, when we look at BTB, we will see how to narrow down our entries to a lower time frame and how we could easily get a 1:3, a 1:2 using this methodology. Right? Now let's move on with momentum shift. So you need to understand this properly. If you've been following us from day one, you should understand what we're explaining, because we actually took time to go through the candlestick patterns, and on the candlesticks pattern alone, this methodology rides on the candlestick pattern, and you would basically have been able to trade it without even using this indicator if you know what you're doing. Or suggest you use it. Make life easier for yourself, seriously. Right, so let's see. So this was the bearish candle, responsible. Price came, tapped, and then when price broke above this bearish candle, this bullish candle, when price broke above, we became buyers. But note, once price broke above this bearish candle, it made this bearish candle. It put a green arrow on this bearish candle. So our bias automatically becomes bullish. Then we fib this bearish candle. Notice that if you fib this bearish candle, you have your buys again. You have your buys again. sorry, you have your buys. What's happening to the internet connection? I needed us to see if it hits any TP without stop hunts. It's not coming up. We have our buys and definitely would have hit TP1. How did I know that? Well, this is a measured move, right? So from my PE, take this out from my PE to the edge of my box. I just simply clone that. Boom, I would have hit TP1. So whether you are looking at it from the eye of the bearish candle or you are looking at it from the eye of the bullish candle, you would have, you still would have been able to trade this. So we see people in the AQZ group saying, I got a bullish momentum shift. Somebody just asked the question this evening, bearish H4 prophetic candle, how do I fall? Just pick one. You would have your entry at the end of the day. I'll prove that. So let's start now. We had this bullish candle here. We had this bullish arrow, right? We had the bullish arrow. With this bullish arrow, we would have fibbed this and be anticipating price dropping into this region to buy. Price never came there, right? Again, you remember, we always fib the black candles. We would have fibbed this black candle. After this broke, we'll be anticipating price coming back to the preferred entry to buy, and price dropped. We most likely would have had a losing trade. When price dropped, we lost that trade, but then we had a shift, a bearish momentum shift, telling us that there's the possibility that price could begin to fall lower. There's a possibility. So when we have this bearish momentum shift, what would we do? We would fib this red arrow now. So we go around and fib this red arrow from the top downwards because it's bearish. We fib top downwards. Now we have price, after the shift, price pulled back into the preferred entry and then dropped. You see that? Price pulled back into the preferred entry and then dropped. This is one way we could have taken the sell. Now, when price broke back above the preferred entry, when price broke back above the preferred entry, the retest of the buy area of the AQZ, remember the AQZ block, for this is a bearish, we drew this because of the bearish momentum shift. So this place will be for sell and this will be for buy. So when price broke above, we ignore the sell and begin to anticipate buys from here. You see that? Now, this is one way we would have bought. We would have bought. And when we buy this way, we would hit. When we buy this way, we would hit, sorry, both ways. When we buy this way, we will hit from here, TP1, TP2. You see that? Price came, bounced, we are buyers, it went, TP1, it went, TP2, right? TP2. So if your stop loss was from this point to this block, right? If your stop loss was here, sorry, let me take out this magnet. If your stop loss was at the end of the AQZ block, you basically had one, this is your stop loss, the distance here is the stop loss, you basically had like 1:3, if not 1, if not more. So you came in here, your stop loss was here, and you got out there, right? That is 1:3.45, 46. It's about 1:3. You've had your 1:3 already, right? Now, we said that was one way of going in for the buy. Let's see, which other way could we have gone in for this buy? So if your friend is telling you, oh no, this is the correct one, there is nothing like correct or incorrect, except if you break the rules. if you keep to the rules, 3 of us can look at price 3 different ways and we'll all be correct. It's not an issue of being right, it's an issue of making money. And I told you, the people who are right, they don't make money in Forex. They stay long holding a losing trade just to prove they are right until their account is blown. So here we are. We would have gotten this buy off of this bearish AQZ. Now, I said, if you take off this bearish AQZ, how else could we have gotten this buy? When we had a break above the bearish AQZ block, we automatically had this coming up, right? We had this green arrow. Now we would have fibbed this bearish candle, and then we take out the previous fib. So if somebody is fibbing the bearish one, you are fibbing the bullish one. Would you have gotten a buy here? Oh, yes. Oh, yes, you would have gotten your buy. Broke above, came back, bought. Would you have hit your TP if you bought? Let's try that and see. Yes, you hit TP1. In fact, you hit TP1. If you've been following us, I told you if you enter from the tip of the AQZ block, your TP1 is a black line. It went straight to the TP1 and tapped out. The question most people ask, hey, Bishop, what about those times we had losses? Well, that was why we discussed this. You could have 56% losses and still grow your account by 12%. You could win just 11 trades out of 25 and still grow your account by 12%. So let's stop this craze for trying to be right all of the time. If you have that gift, go win the lottery. I mean, go win the jackpot. In trading, we take losses like men. And when we lose the trade, we go for the next one. If we lose it, we go for the next one. If we lose it, we go for the next one. And AQZ basically helps you to make money back. Anything you've lost, you take it back. So as I round up momentum shift today, I'm going to tell us the secret of using momentum shift profitably. The secret of using momentum shift profitably. Very sweet and simple secret. The secret is simple, and I'll type it. That's the secret. Focus on few pairs. You don't need to trade more than 2 pairs to be serious. Why? Why would you want to trade 5, 6, 7, 8? Why? What are you looking for? Why would you want to trade 5, 6, 7 pairs? How would you monitor them? If all you need to do is follow the candlesticks, if your setup hasn't come, wait for it. You simply wait for it, right? So let's go through how we would have traded EU. I'm using the 12 hours here, right? But you could basically have used the 4 hours. In fact, I use mainly the daily. So I sent this signal, was it 2 days ago, AUD USD on the daily, and I hope you caught it. I sent it 2 days ago. This candle was just forming, and then it dropped, right? And where did we get this from? Here, price has bounced. Price hasn't broken this level. Price hasn't broken this level. Price kept coming to it. It just drew the fib there. And if price breaks further, this is the next level. Simple as that. You find, for the guys trading, the experienced guys, I'll tell you why on next week. Remind me to tell you why I decided to take a trade here. But again, you can see it just took out 3 days high. 1, 2, 3, took it out, call a liquidity sweep, and then price dropped, right? So you could trade this on the daily time frame, trade it on the 12 hours, you could, of course, trade it on the 4 hours. So we have an indicator called the prophetic candle. If you need to get the prophetic candle, you need to come to the AQZ group, right? You need to come to this AQZ discussion group. And by the way, if you're on AQZ discussion group and you're not in the AQZ FX channel group, you are missing. Because the AQZ discussion group could be very, very noisy, right? If you leave it for like 1 hour, you might find 500 messages and now you are lost. But the important information are dropped in the channel. So the channel is less noisy, right? For instance, today is 30th, and we basically have nothing, no new post has come into the channel throughout today. And I can tell you have well over 700 charts, if not more, in the discussion group. So you want to get the meat out of the AQZ, you need to join the AQZFX channel, and also you can now join the discussion group. When you join the discussion group, this is the brain behind the AQZ methodology. His name is Doug Tabor, right? His username is @goldenboy. So either from Simply Pips here or from AQZ, whichever, just attention him by saying type the @ and golden, you find him there. Then you need to tell him your TradingView username. So this is TradingView. This is TradingView, for instance. If you're on TradingView, simply come to these 3 horizontal bars here. Click on them. You will find your username here. So here's my username, Bishop Raj. So I could basically just say @goldenboy, my TradingView username is Bishop Raj. Please grant me access to the PC. Right? Grant me access to the PC and MS. That's the prophetic candle and the momentum shift, and say, okay, he would respond to you when he sees that. And when you get the prophetic candle and the momentum shift indicator, it's going to appear. Yeah, so you see this button FX, this button, this is like a function button for those of you who are science students. When you click on it, you're going to find invite only scripts here. Invite only scripts. Invite only scripts. And then you find the AQZ. For like I have the H4, the H1, the daily, the AQZ momentum shift. And of course, we have some other indicators. We'll create some other time to teach on them. But it's very, very interesting trading the AQZ way. So let's wrap this up in like 5 minutes now. Wrap this up in 5 minutes. Let's go back to Euro USD and go back to 4 hours, right? 4 hours is a little bit more noisy, but that notwithstanding, you could still trade it. We're going to put on the H4 prophetic candle now, and then we're going to call up our AQZ momentum shift, and we'll trade it by taking out the show all momentum and just leave the shift alone, right? So let's see how we would have traded this, and then we'll call it a wrap for today. All right. So at the beginning, we had this H4 PC, right? We have this H4 PC. When we have the H4 PC, what do? We fib, put on your magnet, right? Fib from this point to this point. Again, notice how price pushed to the upside, came back and gave you TP1, TP2, TP3, TP4, TP5. Ladies and gentlemen, are we together? Right. Now, when you see a shift, it simply means the candle before the shift violated this bullish candle. And the momentum shift green arrow would have appeared on this same black candle. So in this instance, the PC and the momentum shift are in agreement. And then you have your push to the upside, right? Now, so let me take this off and put just the entry fibs. Again, for the fibs and how to use them, you go to the AQZ group, click on the top, the banner, click on it, go to files. You would find the cheat sheet I shared with you guys. You find a video like this that explains the AQZ momentum shift. You'll find a PDF document that contains the prophetic candle and how to use it. You find the AQZ New Wave PDF that breaks down how you could set up your fibs on your trading view, right? All of them are there, FOC, free of charge, guys. Right, so here we had a shift, came back. Remember, in a bullish run, the bearish candle are our friends. In the bullish run, the bearish candles are our friend. This was the last bearish candle before this high. When price came back to that bearish candle, we're buying. Now, this is the next bearish candle, right? Responsible for the new high. This was the previous high. This is the new high. So what do? We fib this bearish candle. Price never really came back and then pushed. Now, on our way up, we see this shift here. This shift appeared because this closed beneath this. So we'll be going to the highest bullish candle and fib it to the downside. So you have a shift. Price came to that zone and then dropped. You see that? We're trading both the buy and the sell. We're trading both the buy and the sell. So somebody said buy, sell. Well, you could do it with AQZ. We're trading both the buy and the sell. Price push to the upside. Boom. Believe it or not, would have hit like TP2, if not, right? All right, so it went to TP1, TP2. TP2 was hit, and then price shot up. Of course, you should know to break even when you need to, depending on your trade plan. Then price shot up. Once price shot up, we had an invalidation. If price had come back into this box, we would have bought. If price traded back to this bearish candle again, we would have bought, but price never did either of them, right? So price continued pushing up. We would look for the last bearish candle responsible for the high, so we would have fibbed this candle also. Price never came back. The last bearish candle responsible for that high, we would have fibbed this last bearish candle. See how price came, bought. You see that? Bought. If you focus on just EU and one other pair without jumping from pair to pair, then when you start with Euro USD, then you jump to EG, then you go to Euro CHF, and by Friday, you discover that price was moving in some other pairs, but you didn't catch any because we were hopping. Right? Now we have this bearish candle. We would have fibbed this to the downside. See how price broke through. If price had returned to this zone, we would have bought. This is a H4 PC candle, for that matter. It's a sell, right? And price came and gave us TP. Believe it or not, price delivered on this, right? Let's again show you that. All right, so this was the H4 PC. This arrow appeared because this candle formed. See how price traded into the sell zone and then dropped all the way to TP2. And then dropped all the way to TP2. Take your own and allow the market to move. Price then should shot up, right? Let's wrap this up now. Price shot up, then this is the bearish candle response to that high. You would have fibbed this. Price went, came, boom, buy, then price broke down, right? So I'll stop here just to let you guys know that you could trade momentum shift and trade it together with the H4 PC and still be